All right, welcome back. So from what we learned last time, we've created our program. Everything's working great. But as you can see, we put everything in one Python file. And as we keep on making edits or adding things, it's just going to get bigger and it's not going to be really manageable. So we need to implement classes. So first things first, let's create another file, call it RPG, and we're going to create a class. We're going to put in our import time and random time. So it's going to do that all for us. And think of a class as a simple module that you can call from a different program and it'll do all the things you want it to, like all the methods that we wrote here, we can call them from over here. And I'll show you how we do that. Okay, so first thing is we call it class RPG, then we initialize it so that we can instantiate an object of this and then be able to call all these methods in the class. And what we really did here is just literally paste all our functions. Yeah, pretty much all that, and that's it. All right, so once we've created this, we save it, go back to the RPG simulator, the Python file, and then we can get rid of the libraries. We don't need them because they're being called over here, and all that's being done for us. Now we need to call our class and then instantiate that object so that we can call the methods from it. So we just do this. So from RPG, import RPG. That's the class right here, right? And then R equals RPG, and then we can start just deleting all these methods that we have here. So our code gets cleaned up. So now it's just like this. And the way we call our methods from that class is we're like R dot and then the method, right? And same thing over here. So R dot and then R dot and then choice equals R dot, and that's how we're pretty much doing it. All right. All right. Well, that's moving. Okay. And there it is. And then game over. We're not really changing it. That's just one line of code. All right. So then let's run this and see that it's working. Okay. Control save. Run. All right. Okay. There's an issue. So what's going on? Okay. Line 6 RPG simulator dot line 6. So line 6 r dot start. So what's going on? Okay, we're going to our prototyping because I already tested it over here. And let's see. So RPG from start, then RPG start. Okay, that should be fine. Let's copy this. Maybe there's just like some weird. No, that's it. Okay, so let's call this again. Sometimes when we copy over or when we type, there's like hidden characters that show up. So we can either just like delete everything there and then retype everything and it'll work. But it's a fun guessing game. All right, press start. Okay, there it's working. So we typed in something wrong or a hidden character got put in there. So let's see, our game started. Which room will you enter? We're gonna press 1. Okay, we're gonna loot the room or not. Yes, I gotta change that message right here. Okay, let's see. And what was that one? Room description. So room add decision. Okay, here 2 soldiers enter the second room. Okay, here, let's do this. Okay, control save. Now it's a little better. One other thing that you have to take into consideration, or remind it of, is whenever you update your classes here, when you want to redo them over here, you have to clear all outputs and restart, because otherwise it'll take the last save of your RPG and run it like that. So if you run it now, it'll work. So 1, right? And then 1, and that's it. So like it'll update correctly. All right, so we're done with this right here. Yeah, okay. So let's go back because we want to add something to our code. And now that we have introduced classes, when we make changes, it's going to be a little easier as well. So let's see. Go back to draw.io. And what we're going to change is the probability here. So when we choose to fight, we're going to either one-shot the monster or we're not going to die. Instead, we're going to go, okay, hey, we attacked the monster. It took some damage, but it woke up. Now we're going to enter combat. We're going to be like, okay, hey, check the status of the player or display the status of the player or both. So let's say we check our status and we got poisoned before, but not really. We go and we die and game over. But then we go to monster status and it just displays, hey, what's the health of that monster and so forth. Then after we play both statuses, we go to the player turn where we can choose to flee. Like it woke up, we're too scared, right? So go back to the room, or we can choose like, okay, no, yeah, we'll choose to flee, and we'll be like, okay, the Chihuahua monster is like, oh, like this coward, so it just falls back to sleep. So we can go back to that room and escape, and then like try over again. And we could do that where like we attack it multiple times, flee, and then coming back, and so that when the monster wakes up, like this time around, we check the status of the monster right here, and it's like, oh, hey, it's 0 health, so it died, you won, and like just game over. Okay, then let's go back here. So player turn, we can either use potions if our health is lower than 100, but it is 100 or higher. We use up that action, so we just continue, and then it's the monster's turns. If we attack and we're successful, we're not going to do probability with this one. We're just be like, hey, our attack is hitting every time, even though it's a really small object or really small monster. Then now it's its turn. So here the monster is going to be like, okay, hey, what's my health? Am I good? If it's not, if it's dead, it just goes to game over. But if it is alive, then it's going to be, okay, let's attack you. And it can only attack. It's a fierce monster, meaning, hey, it can only really do one thing. So then once we attack, we go back to the player status. The player's like, okay, I'm still alive. The monster only took X amount of health, so we're going to continue fighting it. But if not, the player's going to be like, oh, I'm dead, so it's game over. And that's just going to be the basic logic with the flowchart for what we're going to implement. So take that into consideration. I'll come back in the next video and I'll explain how to do all the code and stuff. It's just going to take a little bit of time, and we're going to reference this as we go, okay? All right, bye.